In today's video, we will dive into the crucial aspects of enhancing your interview answers. Whether you want to sharpen your clarity of thought, strengthen your structural approach, or simply to amplify specificity, this video has got you covered. Now, it's important to know that we will not be focusing on learning literary English here. We're here to equip you with practical skills for acing job interviews efficiently. So let's waste no more time and jump right in. The first technique we'll explore to enhance the wording of your answers is by utilizing ChatGPT as a helpful tool. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that, like most things in life, there are benefits and risks associated with this approach. The primary advantage is that your answers can sound remarkably improved and more professional. I was actually pleasantly surprised myself by the quality of some of my examples when reworded by ChatGPT. Nevertheless, it's important to consider the time investment to learn the new wording and the risk of becoming overly reliant on ChatGPT, such as seeking entire stories or altering answers excessively. Another powerful approach to significantly enhance your answers, especially if you find yourself heavily reliant on ChatGPT, is to focus on transforming general statements into specific ones. And this can be accomplished by asking follow-up and challenge questions. And I'll give a few examples in a moment. But by taking a general statement and making it more specific, you add depth and authenticity to your answers. It demonstrates your ability to think critically and provide concrete examples and experiences. This technique not only impresses interviewers, but also ensures that your responses are tailored to the specific job or industry you're pursuing. For example, assuming you have a star answer for the situation and task. When did this happen? Where did this happen? What was your role? Were you the main decision maker here? What was the risk if nothing happened? Okay, and now for the results. Why did you choose to focus on these results? What other results were important? What trade-offs did you have to make to achieve this? Were there any learnings you took from this? How did these results compare to your actual goals? Method number 3, or rather a filter here, is to, so again, the goal would be to ensure that your answers are their best, is by evaluating if they incorporate enough numbers, metrics, or quantifiers if you want. And let's explore 3 potential scenarios you may encounter here. So firstly, there may be instances where your answers lack specific numbers. In these cases, it's essential to include relevant numerical data, particularly in the results sections as well, because adding quantifiable information can provide credibility and showcase the impact of your actions. Okay. Secondly, if you are bound by a non-disclosure agreement, you might intentionally omit specific numbers. However, based on my experience here, you can still give the interviewer an approximate idea of the scale or magnitude of that specific project or experience by incorporating relevant quantifiers. Okay. Now, on the other hand, it is also important to be cautious of the third scenario, where your example might be overloaded with redundant metrics. Okay, in such cases, it's crucial to sanitize your responses, removing excessive and irrelevant data. Okay, this basically allows you to prioritize the quality of thought and present your answers more effectively. Okay, so by maintaining a balanced approach while incorporating numbers, quantifiers, and metrics, you ensure that your answers are impactful, credible, and demonstrate your ability to quantify success. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth method, which I actually initially intended to include alongside the second, However, due to the prevalence of generic examples generated by ChatGPT, I believe it deserves its own category. Okay, so this method revolves around the action part of your star answer, which often lacks specificity and depth. Let me offer a couple of probing and challenge questions to help you expand on your action here. Were you the key driver or project owner? What were the most significant obstacles you faced? How did you overcome them? How did you set priorities, deal with specific problems, or gain manager buy-in? Contrary to popular belief, concise answers are not always the most effective. In fact, in a separate video, I explain why longer answers tend to outperform shorter ones. Okay, so in my opinion, the action part of your story holds the most significance, as it allows the interviewers to thoroughly evaluate your functional expertise. Okay, thus differentiating yourself in this area is crucial during a job interview. Okay, the deeper the level of detail you provide in your action segment, the more credible and unique your answer becomes. Okay, moving on here, the fifth method. It's important to recognize that if a story or example sounds dull or of low quality to you, it is likely going to be perceived similarly by others. Okay, so if despite your efforts to revise them, certain stories still sound unimpressive, it may be better to remove them altogether. So by eliminating lackluster examples from your repertoire, you ensure that you only present the most compelling and engaging stories during your interview. Okay, so quality and impact are key when it comes to capturing the attention and interest of your interviewer. Remember, here is not just about having a story for every questions asked. It's about delivering stories that showcase your skills, experiences, and achievements in the most captivating way possible. Moving forward here, let's discuss the sixth and seventh methods to significantly improve your answers. One approach I highly recommend, which I mentioned actually in several other videos, is to build a story bank comprising the key highlights of your career. So this proactive approach goes beyond simply answering interview questions and requires both a quantitative and a qualitative approach. Okay, so you should focus on both the number of stories in your bank and the depth and the quality of each of those stories. By building a story bank, you can extract the most relevant details from your experiences when addressing specific interview questions. Additionally here, once your story bank is established, it's advisable to rank your stories. Okay, determine which ones are the strongest and identify those that could benefit from further revisions. You can even calculate the overall average score of your story bank and set goals to improve it. This process will enable you to optimize your time effectively by prioritizing the stories that offer the greatest potential for improvement. Let's delve into the eighth method, which ventures into a slightly philosophical realm. So, throughout my experience, I've encountered numerous instances where people consider behavioral interviews to be a complete waste of time. And some believe that the whole preparation process for job interviews should be outlawed. Okay. Additionally, here it's unfortunately common for some individuals to use profanity of negative overall language when discussing their past experiences. What many fail to understand here is that your perception and attitude are not easily hidden during an intense interview. So basically, a skilled interviewer is more perceptive than you might think and can discern your attitude and mindset. Okay, so therefore, I strongly advise reconsidering your approach as your attitude shines through, especially in a behavioral interview. And finally, 9 and 10, are there ways to inadvertently undermine a great answer? Absolutely. And let's explore two methods that can potentially diminish the impact of your responses. The first method involves over-repeating your answers. Okay, so it is common during role plays or even coaching sessions to continuously practice and refine your answers. However, an unintended consequence of this repetition is that your answers may become scripted or lack spontaneity. Okay, so this tends to affect individuals who have a natural proficiency in communication and don't necessarily require repetition to improve their answers. Okay, and the second method that can undermine a great answer is over-constraining how you present it. Okay, so frequently individuals place excessive emphasis on fitting their responses within a specific time limit, such as aiming to keep it under 2 minutes. Okay, so it's important to remember that interviewers are not timing you with a stopwatch ready to dismiss you if you exceed a particular time limit. Okay, so this self-imposed limit constraint can hinder the natural flow and authenticity of your answers. Okay, and the other scenario is around templating your answers using the STAR method, for example. However, here, while adhering to the STAR method may compromise some originality if you want, it is often viewed as a favorable trade-off because what happens here is that interviewers are typically familiar with the STAR approach and may expect you follow it. Okay, so ultimately what sounds good enough to you is likely to sound good to them as well. Okay, so hopefully you found this information useful, and thank you very much for watching.